Good evening, everyone. The time is now 7, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for joining us to discuss cookie booths. If you have any questions tonight, please feel free to go ahead and put it in the Q&A or the chat. I am Tashiana Avery, Product Program Manager with Girl Scouts. Tonight on the webinar, I also have our director, Ashley Pash, with us, and then our Little Brownie rep, Ann Norgren, is joining us this evening. So again, thank you. Our objective tonight is to navigate eBuddy to give you all a better understanding of the system, to discuss how to schedule hotspots and non-hotspots, and then to go over cookie booth etiquette. Next slide, please. So again, our agenda to go over hotspots, cookie booth etiquette, and then at the end, Ann will walk us through eBuddy. So first, hotspots versus non-hotspots. Hotspot booths are booths that GSCI set up for troops, and they are also national partnerships through GSUSA. So these are locations like our Walmarts that we ask you not to contact. Then our non-hotspot booths are booths that troops set up on their own. They're at locations like churches, schools. You can do kind of like a lemonade stand in your yard. We encourage you to let us know what those booth locations are. There's a way to do that in eBuddy that we'll go over at the end of the webinar. And the benefit to that is that there is a Girl Scout cookie finder app. So if you're putting it in eBuddy, the customers out in the community will put in their zip code, and then they'll be able to find those booths as well, as long as you put them in eBuddy. Next slide, please. So for 2022, this is our current hotspot list. These are the locations we ask you to not contact. This year, we also have our sign-up dates, January 17th, and there you'll be limited to selecting 4 booths on January 19th. Again, you'll be limited to selecting 4 booths on January 21st. You'll have unlimited amounts of booths that you can sign up for that 3rd round of booths. And then on February 21st, same thing. There'll be the 4th round of booths, and you'll have unlimited availability for those. So booth etiquette. Have your confirmation handy or in the eBuddy app. You can print that off. It does let you know what location you've signed up for. There are some booths that have the same address or are the same location. It's just to help you and the other troop that may be at the location make sure that you're at the right place. Arrive and leave on time, because as you're arriving or leaving, another troop may be taking that location to set up. Come prepared. Bring your own table, chairs, have your own money to be able to give change to customers, your booth info sheet. Be respectful. No more than 2 girls and 2 registered adults are allowed at any booth except for the mall booths. We do allow 3 girls at the mall booths. A Girl Scout must be present at the booth. Dress for the booth. Some booths are indoors and some are outdoors, so you want to make sure that you dress for the weather. Create colorful displays. Bling your booth. Let them know about your goals. Get them excited. Get the customers excited about that as well. Participate in Cookies for a Cause and have displays for that to let the customers know that you are Girl Scouts and what you're doing there. Leave siblings and friends at home. Only service animals are permitted at the cookie booths. Behave appropriately. Having girls run around, playing games, being on cell phones or tablets is not appropriate at a cookie booth. Keep your money protected. Leave the area clean, which means taking all of your empty cases of cookies with you. Please thank the managers. They're allowing us to use the storefronts for our girls. And then set up your Troop Link and digital cookie before arriving so that you're able to take credit card payments. So booth dues, again, dress appropriate for the weather. Ensure that you have something that shows that you're Girl Scout. So if the girls are wearing their vests, again, being creative with those signs, a Girl Scout tablecloth. We do have plenty of materials at the shop for purchase. If you would like to check those out. Treat people fairly, no matter who they are, or what they look like at the booths. Be honest about the cost of the cookies. Be honest about where the Cookies for a Cause donations go. Share troop goals with customers. Make sure you're at the right booth location again. Be on time and release your booth in eBuddy if you cannot make it. That one's an important one. Another troop might be able to make that slot. Booth don'ts. Please do not argue with store management. Please don't argue with other troop leaders. Please don't leave any girls at the booths alone. Please don't leave cookies or money unattended. Please don't bring electronics. And please don't yell at customers for not purchasing cookies. Do not bring pets. Again, the only animals allowed are service animals. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Hey, Tashi, real quick. Teresa, your question to show how to take credit card information at cookie booths. As stated in the Troop Cookie Manager training, that will come out later this month from GSUSA. They are rolling out a new app in late January, and then they'll roll out that training so that councils can share that with troops. So before booth season happens, we will have that from GSUSA, and we will share that with everyone.
Thank you, Ashley. So booth etiquette is important. Remember that while you're out at cookie booths, you are representing Girl Scouts. Whether you believe it or not, there is an image that you're projecting out at the cookie booths that the customers and the public see. So make sure you're being a sister to every Girl Scout. Please know that local stores can deny access for cookie booths. We have national partnerships, but we can lose those partnerships if girls are running around stores or managers feel disrespected. So again, please just be kind, thank them, and make sure you're leaving the storefront better than you found it. Retain the customers by getting to know a little bit about them, keeping their information, checking in with them. Yeah.
Tashi, I have another live question. It says, how many boxes of cookies should we bring to a booth? Christine, that might be a really good question for your service unit. As we get closer to booth season, we will share some, like the portion of what's selling and what's not. What sold last year. So like Thin Mints are always 30% of what you're going to sell. But dependent on the booth, location, day, time, that makes a really big difference. And so within your own service unit, if you have a Facebook page or an email group or whatever, however your service unit communicates, it would probably be a really good question to reach out to them or straight to your service unit cookie manager, let them know what you're signed up for, and get their opinion. Depending on the booth, I know like for my daughter's troop, we might bring anywhere from 100 to 250 packages, just depending on like where we're at, when we're there. Is it a Walmart versus a mall versus Lowe's? So definitely I would just suggest reaching out locally to get a better idea of what's happening at those local locations, because it's a wide array of things happen at those, depending on where you're at in the council. All right, Tosh.
Thank you. Sensitive topics. Troops run into this, and you may too. So we just want to make sure that you know that you might get asked about Planned Parenthood in a partnership with the Girl Scouts. That is a myth. There's also some questions about the palm oil that's used in Girl Scout cookies. Little Brownie Baker uses certified palm oil and it's marked on every cookie box. There is a little stamp on there, and you can show that to a customer that might be asking. So don't answer or comment other than, just know that it's on every box and that the Planned Parenthood partnership is a myth. Please call the booth hotline at 317-924-6832 for more assistance.
I have another live question I want to go ahead and answer. The question is, I'm not sure how to let all girls have an opportunity to do a booth if we need 2 adults and only 2 kids. Each registered adult has 1 or 2 kids, so that kids who don't have registered adults may not get to do any suggestions. Erica, I know for my daughter's troop, our cookie dad actually requires that each family have at least 1 adult registered. He does have 2 families, and the way so like a lot of the times the sisters sell together so that their parents and those sisters can just go to the booth together. Each booth requires 1 registered adult, but 2 adults so for safety activity checkpoints, right? So 2 adults, even if you only have 1 kid going. However, I would work with your parents and ask them to sign up to help with booths, and just be clear that, as a parent, you also have a commitment to your own Girl Scout. While you have a commitment to the troop, you also want to make sure that your Girl Scout reaches her goals too. And so part of that family piece of cookies is getting involved and helping your daughter reach her goals. And booths is one of those ways parents can do that. And so as long as you have 1 registered adult at each booth, then the other adult could be an unregistered adult. They would need to, provide their own chaperone virtually for that booth. And then your registered adult should be the one that's handling the cookies and the money with you as the Troop Cookie manager. Sorry. Yeah. So that's the answer to that question.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to pass it to Anne and for her to do the eBuddy walkthrough and show us hotspots and non-hotspots.
Thanks, Tashi. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share my screen with you and just walk you through eBuddy and as a troop leader, how you will go about placing or signing up for those booths, both the non-hotspot and the hotspot booths. So Tashi, can you just let me know, can you see my eBuddy screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So as a troop leader, when you log into eBuddy, this is what you will see. And across the top, we have all these fun tabs, and we do have one for booth sites. So you will click on the booth sites, and then their booth sites are all broken down by geography. So if you live in Anderson, you're going to be able to click on Anderson and then see what booths are available in Anderson, or you can click on Avon and see what's available there and kind of go through the list there. The council will continue to add to this list as we go along. So as a troop leader, I've decided that I want to go to the Lowe's Home Improvement in Anderson, Indiana, and then I pick the date and the time I want to go. So if I want to go on Friday night from 5 to 8 p.m., that is a 3-hour booth location. It opens it up. I click my troop number in the box, and then I hit submit. Oh, and I'm using the live site, so it's telling me that I can't do what I need to do. So it would show up here that your troop is signed up for this particular booth. It is time stamped, and eBuddy is very accurate as to when people are logging in all at the same time who gets what booth. You'll see that here Saturday, you saw that on this particular line, it was from 5 to 8 p.m. So it was a 3-hour slot. You'll see here on Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. However, that's multiple spots. So you'll have a slot at 9, a slot at 11, a slot at 1, a slot at 3, 5, and 7. So we take that 12-hour time frame and we break it apart into 2-hour slots. Again, you would click and then submit and it'll hold your spot. So say you really wanted to go to Lowe's at 5 p.m. on the 18th, but this slot says claimed and somebody's already taken it. What you can do is click notify me if slots open. And so that puts me on the list. And then if somebody takes away this slot, as Tashi mentioned, if you can't make it to a booth, it's really important that you go into eBuddy and pull yourself off of that booth for many reasons. One is Tashiana also mentioned the Girl Scout cookie finder. So if your troop is scheduled to go to this booth and now you can't go, it's important to pull yourself off so that customers that are looking for cookies that night won't go there if nobody's there. So you want to make sure you pull yourself away at that point. Plus it gives troops like this troop the opportunity. Now, when I uncheck myself, if I'm not going to a booth, anybody who signed up on the wait list will receive an email stating that a time slot has opened up and to go into eBuddy and sign up for it if they're still interested. So this is a really popular way to catch those popular booths if people can't make it to them. Shameless plug for the eBuddy app. The app makes it a lot easier when you get that email that a booth slot has opened up. You just have to log into the app and you can get there a little bit quicker than needing to find a computer to log into. Say you've decided that you don't want to attend and you want to stop getting emails about a particular location, you can just stop notifying me and then the emails will stop. So these are for the hotspot booths. As you can see, the council has lots of geographies, lots of cities with lots of different options for the booths. But say you have a small troop or a Daisy troop and you're so unsure of taking them to a Walmart or a Kroger, but your grandpa owns a pizza parlor. You can do what we call non-hotspot requests. So on the booth site tab, under this council dropdown, we have a My Sales. So a My Sales allows you to go in and add a location. So you as a troop would add a location and you just put in the information. I'm just going to put in this information real quick. It's Grandpa's hardware store. It's on Main Street. You can put in the contact and the phone and if you'd like. We're going to go on the 17th of January from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then you're going to hit add. So what that does is it puts this particular booth site in. The council's going to come in and make sure, one, that it's appropriate for girls to sell, because you don't ever want a girl to sell at a location where they can't frequent that location, and to make sure nobody else has signed up for it. So they will either approve or deny the request within, I think, up to 48 hours ahead of time. So that is how you would handle the how you would put in the non-hotspot booths. I know that Kroger was a question a little while ago. There's the one weekend that Kroger's permitted. So if you are going to approach Kroger about another weekend, you would put it in as a non-hotspot booth. All of this information in the non-hotspots, once it's approved, will then funnel up to the GSUSA cookie finder. So we know how important it is for the consumers to find the girls. So as soon as this location is approved by the council, then the information will flow up to anybody looking for cookies in this particular zip code. So that's all I have at this point. Does anybody have any questions, or is there anything else I can show anybody, Tashiana?
And do you mind showing them how to also record their booth sales?
I do
We
not
do-
mind.
we
So one of the other options here, there's the hotspots, the non-hotspots, and then you can record a sale of what you've sold at a particular booth location using, actually there's two places to do it. You can do it here, but you can also do it on the girl order tab. Let me try to do it from here because Ashley, we don't have, there we go.
Although since they, yeah, since they,
This,
that sample one might work because I was playing with something.
no, that's fine. So you can record the sales from here. So what you're going to do again is use the drop down and go to record sales. You're going to click on the booth that you want to record. You've not signed up for booth sites.
Oh, because we can't edit the girl orders tab yet because of initial order.
Correct. Now I can get us out of where I am and I can show you based on the council level if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think so. While you're moving to council level, Leslie raised her hand, so I'm gonna allow her to talk. Leslie, you should be able to unmute now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. On the non-hotspot booths, are we allowed to have more than 2 girls and 2 adults if it's approved by the owner?
Yes, you can. So on a non-hotspot, that's up
Like
to
someone
yeah,
from,
whatever
like, our
agreement.
whole troop came and kind of, you know, did their thing. If it was approved by the establishment.
Yes. So the 2 adults, 2 girls is just to keep those partnerships that we have at a hotspot level. That's what we've agreed to. You're allowed to do whatever the business owner would like you to do.
All right, thank you. And
Yeah, no problem.
we're a new Daisy troop. On the initial order, do you have any idea how many cookies we should initially order other than what our girls have already sold?
So on our council website, on the Cookie Central page, under the volunteer portion, so the bottom half of that page, under essentials is a starting inventory order tool that pulls all of last year's data from Daisy troops, from your service unit, and from your service unit. You can pick those 2 items, how many girls you have selling. It will give you an estimate of what it looks like you would sell based on what they did last year. And then we suggest you order somewhere around 50% of that to get yourself started. That's if you're going to do booths. If you're not going to do booths, or you're going to do a couple of booths, I would suggest ordering a little bit to get you started on like any orders that might come in on paper order cards that you haven't collected yet, or through like maybe your first booth. And then the cupboards will open on February 8th, and you can always go back to a cupboard. And then of course, per our messaging yesterday, the adventurefuls are guaranteed on the initial order. And then we'll be working to get them into cupboards after that point. And so that first week of cupboards, it'll be hit and miss which ones have their adventurefuls early in the week and later in the week. So we suggest ordering those on initial order as well.
Okay.
All right, great. Anne, are you ready?
I am ready. Just disregard all of this other stuff that you see. So I'm on the troop. I'm on booth sites. I go to record sales, and then I click the booth that I'm going to. So what this allows me to do is to take the inventory that I sold at a booth and divide it up equally for each of the girls. It also will also divide up the money for each of the girls, because we know when you go to a booth sale, the girls don't go home with the money for the packages that they sold. So in this example, I picked that we went to the sample booth on this particular day, and now I have to figure out which girls attended. So this troop and the number girl, that's a pseudo girl that's in eBuddy for digital cookie. But I also know, I'm just going to go through, I can deselect all if I'd like, I can select all. For me, it's easier to deselect all and say that these 4 girls helped me at the booth, and that we sold 5 adventurefuls, 10 lemon ups. So we sold a total of 115 packages, and then we had four cookies for a cause packages. So We sold 119 boxes total for a total of $595. Then what happens is I distribute the boxes, and it distributes them as evenly as it possibly can across all 4 girls. And you can see that because we sold 5 adventurefuls and there were 4 girls, it broke it up that way. But in the long run, everybody's going to have the same number, or as close. It's 119 divided by 4. So somebody's always going to kind of be short one. But if you wanted to, you could take a package away from somebody and give it to somebody else just by clicking 0 here and clicking 2 here, type of a thing. So your total's still 4. However, Lillian now has 0 and Isabella has 2. You've distributed, and then you can submit. And what this is saying is that my troop order doesn't have enough packages. So we're not going to be we're just going to say we sold 27 packages. So we'll just do it this way. So we sold 23 packages and it was just 2 girls. And then I'm going to distribute. So here's the 23 packages. It broke it all apart like we mentioned, and then I'm going to submit the sale. So you can see that Adria and Harmony both have packages, and then it broke apart the money. And how you can verify that is go back to the girl order tab, click here. Well, what did I do wrong? That's interesting because it shows it right here, the 3 cookies for a cause and the 23 packages. And you can see the money moved over as well. But I would have, okay, it should be on, oh, this says IO recap. That is exactly why. So when I do this, it's going to show that, and this is grayed out because you can't, at this point, you can't change it, but I'll show you how you can change it. So this was the sample. These were the numbers. It automatically checks it that it was at a booth. These were the 12 packages, and then it was $60. If you do need to make an edit, you would go back to booth sites, go back to record my sales, and click on this again. And an example would be that you forgot Isabella was there. So you're going to click Isabella, you're going to distribute again, and then you're going to submit the sale again. And then you can go back to the girl orders tab and see that it broke the cookies up for the 23 packages for these 3 girls. And when you click on each of the girls again, and the IO recap made the adjustment, or the all orders shows you the adjustment that was made. So you can certainly make changes if you need to, but when you go to make changes, it has to be on the booth site tab and on record sales. Are there any questions regarding that, Ashley?
I do not see any questions about eBuddy. I do have some about credit cards, but I want to wait first. Any questions about the eBuddy pieces that Ann shared? Ann, can you share your screen again and just show how to add paper orders on the initial order tab? And then Christine and Paige and Casey, I see your questions. We will get to those shortly.
So this is the initial order tab. As you can see, I think somebody had, okay, so as you can see, you have a spot for paper order cards. That's the order card. And then, for example, here with Mackenzie, she has 37 packages that she's already sold via digital cookie girl delivered. So those flow automatically into eBuddy, and then they become part of Mackenzie's initial order. So for her order card, what you will do is you'll just click on order card or click on Mackenzie's name. The first box is the cookies for a cause box. So if she's had any donations up until this point from a neighbor when she goes door to door, you can put that in. And then you would just put the number of boxes in, and you can just tab across on your computer. It looks a little bit different when you use the eBuddy app, but anything you do on the computer, you can do in the app, including the girls' initial orders. So you just scroll across. She sold one of every box, and then you hit OK. I always recommend you hit save. You should only hit submit once. So really, that's why that button is an orange button versus purple. So, and then when Mackenzie picks up her cookies from you, she's going to pick up 6 boxes of Adventurefuls all the way across for a total of 46 packages. So I hope that answered your question. I'm going to get rid of this so Mackenzie I don't freak Mackenzie's troop leader out.
I warned their Troop Cookie managers that you'd be messing with them. So with digital, I have 2 questions regarding taking credit cards at booths. Sorry, Amber, yes. And so any extras you're ordering just for the troop stock, you would scroll all the way to the bottom of that screen and enter them either as other or booth. And that would just be for cookies you're ordering above and beyond the girl orders.
And if you were a troop last year, the nice feature about eBuddy is it's going to show you what you ordered a year ago. So if you did place an order for the booth line or the other line, and they work exactly the same way, you can see that this particular troop ordered 948 packages for booths. So they know exactly what they need. And then, as you know, you order in packages and then we deliver in cases. So for example, there's 15 packages of Adventurefuls ordered, which means we're going to give you 24 packages or 2 cases, and you'll have 9 left over at the end of the program, or after you give all the girls their cookies. But that gives you, in this instance, 54 packages extra to sell at a booth sale, plus your booth line.
Okay, I've had a couple questions real quick. Let's go back to digital, the digital cookie and running credit cards. So those will all run into the pseudo girl. So I don't have the training on how to do credit cards yet. It's really simple. And if you get in the current app and you run as if you're going to hand cookies off to somebody in hand, you can see how it's going to run. It will look different and be differently branded, but you'll be able to see how that's going to happen. Let me share my screen real quick with you so that you can see the internet.
Ashley, real quick, can I delete the sample booth?
Oh, yes. I was trying to play with something the other day. So yes.
Nope. I put cookies behind it, so I wanted to delete it to make sure that I got the girls back to being whole again.
Can you all, Tashi, can you see my eBuddy here?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm going to go back into 2021 and look at my daughter's troop, and I will show you all how the credit cards read in to that pseudo girl. So what our Troop Cookie dad did is he was one of the troops I had testing, and they ran only digital cookie payments. If a girl was collecting money for her own personal cookies, she logged into the app and ran them through under her name. If they were at a booth, she logged into the app and ran them through under her troop. And then here are all those payments. That's what all this is. So what he did was, at the end of the day, he would go in, pull payments. You can pull them here. You can also pull them in digital cookie. He would pull those payments and then balance the booths for the day. Let me log in as well to digital cookie, slowly but surely. But so we will have a training on how to do that. The good thing about the money is you don't really need to do anything with it in digital cookie. You don't need to move it. However, if you have girl delivered orders or donations coming in at the very end of the sale, you'll have to come down here and move. You can move the money to pay off booths, but you don't have to. That's up to you. But you will want to move the cookies to ensure, I'm so sorry, my husky is talking to you. You will want to move the cookies to ensure that girls get that credit for rewards. My digital cookie is being really slow. So let me, then let me move on and I'll go back to digital cookie and show you how you can see your troop, all your troop orders, whether that be in hand or delivered. So Christine asked if we could show where to find the starting inventory order tool. If you're on our girlscoutsindiana.org website, you go to cookies, you just hover over that, click Cookie Central. If you're on on a phone, there's like 3 little lines in the top right-hand corner. So you'll click down, click cookies. You'll have to open that back up, and then you'll be able to click Cookie Central. Top part of Cookie Central is for family and girls. The bottom part is for volunteers. So here under Essentials for volunteers is the starting inventory tool. It will automatically download an Excel file, which you can either open in Excel if you have Excel. If you don't, you can force it out into Google Sheets, which is free and everyone can have access to. We'll talk about this a little bit more next week. And do a deep dive on how to use this. But for new troops, you're just here on the new troops tab. You put your troop age level in. You put your service unit and then how many girls are selling. I forgot to hit enable, so it's not letting me change anything. But once you do those things and hit enter, this piece here tells you what 50% of your anticipated sale looks like, what that looks like in full cases, what that looks like in packages. You should keep in mind that you're going to want to think about what you already have sold in digital cookies. So this is counting all of your sales, everything you're doing, shipped, donated, girl delivered. And then right here, you can toggle between 40% and 100% to see what those different percentages look like for your troop. And on the 5, so 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, so on and so forth. And then just know that this is based on the per girl average of the selling girls of this age level. So if you're daisies, we pulled the 2021 per girl average. What did an average Daisy Girl Scout sell in Central Indiana? We pulled the per girl average of your service unit. So if you're Carmel West, what did an average girl in Carmel West sell in 2021? So it takes those 2 things into account. It takes the mix from last year into account. And does that breakdown to help you get that. We will deep dive this heavily next week, and how to enter your initial order and how to pick a delivery site. Sarah, the point of the My Cookies tab in digital cookie, it is where girls can enter their initial order off their paper order card, and you can pull a report. The goal for GSUSA is that at some point that will read down into the Baker software, and you no longer would need to pull that report and enter it. So it's a piece to like start getting to that point. The same thing will happen with rewards. Girls, they're not loaded in yet because they just somehow I broke our rewards piece right before Christmas, and they just fixed it earlier this week. But by the end of the week, you'll see all the rewards in there. And as girls earn certain levels, it will tell them you've earned this level. There's a choice. You need to make a choice. They can make that choice. You can pull the report. However, it will not automatically read into digital or into eBuddy this year, but the goal long term is that it will. I don't know if Anne has a timeline on that. I don't recall what GSUSA said, but I know that over the next couple of years, that is the goal.
Ashley, my understanding is it'll be next year.
Okay.
But don't ever quote me when it comes to that.
I know. That's how I was like, it's GSUSA, so I don't I don't trust it. Paige, girls, do they earn all levels? Yes. So yes, unless you have a girl that sells 2,000 and chooses to opt out for a trip, then she only earns that trip. Or if you have girls, there is a destinations credit reward structure. And for every 500 packages a girl sell, we will keep a $400 destinations credit on file with them. A destinations is a GSUSA travel opportunity for girls or troops. There are two different types. And so there are a couple instances, especially where as girls get older, that you can opt out. But if you sell to 250, you get one thing at every level. Let's see, the booth orders, I'm looking at the chat. Erica, so Erica's question was, can booth orders be used to fill any girl orders after Digital Cookie closes? So Digital Cookie's not gonna close, just the reward portion of Digital Cookie. So Digital Cookie rewards run through January 31st. Digital does not close, it runs to the end of the sale. However, it does stop feeding girl delivered cookies over, and they'll have to ask you for those. And yes, so booth cookies or the other line, both of those are just extra troop cookies. Why does it show designated order to be delivered cookies in? Amy, can you email me? Let me give my email. I'm not sure exactly what you're seeing with a negative balance in eBuddy. It should always be a positive. So I definitely need to see can you email me your troop number? And I can take a look at that. My email is A as in Apple, P as in Paul, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, C as in Cat, H as in Henry at girlscoutsindiana.org. And I can put that in the chat as well. But send me your troop number and I will take a look. Okay, let's go real quick. Let's see if it'll let me in. Nope. My Digital Cookie, I heard rumor that people were struggling tonight, and I'm definitely struggling with it this evening. But there is a way when you're on your troop dashboard. There is a way when you're on your troop dashboard to, oh, okay. So real quick, sorry, I'm reading the chat. I'm doing too many things. There is a way when you're on your troop dashboard to, across the top, you can click orders. That will show you everything happening in hand in your troop pseudo girl. So as people are taking credit cards at booths, you can either use Digital Cookie to balance or eBuddy to balance. There's about a 15 to 20 minute lag for those to read over. So you can use either one. They'll both show the same thing. Jillian made the comment, I took negative balances as a credit from the online sales. You are correct. So on the initial order tab should be positive cookie balances, cookies. On the girl orders tab right now, you should see that there's more money collected than cookies credited. And that is because once you submit your starting inventory order on the initial order tab, it will credit those girls for those cookies. And then that should start to balance out a little closer. Any other questions? Yes, so we had the question, where are the recordings available? They will be available in the Troop Cookie Manager modules on GS Learn as an optional module. And then we're also working to get them put up on the website. We're working with our Marcom team though. So that's just a couple extra. I have absolute access to GS Learn and can upload them by morning, and we don't have access to do whatever we want on the website. So we're working with the comms team to create a folder of recordings under the Cookie Central page. I apologize. My husky is super talkative tonight. Sarah asked about, can you talk about Kroger again? It's been such a successful hotspot in the past. The price is only available from one weekend. Do you think we have a shot at times or dates if we reach out directly to a location? So Sarah, we have a corporate partnership typically with Kroger. Our chief experience officer has a really good working relationship with Kroger, and that's how we've been able to secure that booth in the past. About 3 or 4 years ago, it looked like we were going to lose it. And then she somehow smoothed over that relationship. It's been really well. Unfortunately, there's been a movement across regions in the Midwest in general to start denying all types of outside vendors. And our regional, Ohio got that message from their regional managers at the Kroger level back in like September, October-ish. And our regional manager in Central Indiana was like, no, it should be no big deal. I should have no problem. And then he unfortunately let us know last week that his like higher up had just kind of like said no. And so several Midwest councils are really hurting. He was feeling really bad and like gave us one weekend anyway, despite, but unfortunately, yeah, Kroger, there's a big push from a high level at Kroger to no longer allow any form of outside booths from any organization. And so we got lucky to get the one weekend. I've heard totally mixed reviews since last night's eBuddy communication. I've heard some Krogers are saying absolutely not. Corporate said no, but I've heard other Krogers are like, I don't care what corporate says, and they're working with local troops, local service and cookie managers. So hopefully, if you call your local Kroger, you'll get a positive answer from them, and they'll be willing to work at a local level with local troops. But yeah, unfortunately, it's becoming a national issue. So we've been letting GSUSA know in hopes that maybe they can get more heavily involved and make future years look better. Jillian, no, the other hotspots that aren't listed quite yet in Kokomo, actually, we talked to them this week. They need somebody to walk in. Your service unit cookie manager will get that paperwork tomorrow. Tanya has been super helpful. She's going to walk into all those other locations, get that paperwork signed so we can get those in before next Monday at 6 p.m. Leslie, I see your hand is up, so let me ask you to unmute so you can talk.
Hi, I was wondering if like I said, we're a brand new troop and none of us have done cookies before at all. We just got our banking set up. We don't have a card reader yet as far as taking credit cards.
So you won't need a card reader. The digital cookie app is contactless.
If we could do that in digital cookie and then do we just put like delivered cookies like when we enter it in there?
Oh yeah, so
under the troop site.
So digital cookie payments actually run straight into your eBuddy and pay towards your overall cookie bill. So some troops, if they do everything online, actually we owe them money in April. Oh. Did that, Leslie, did that answer your question? I feel like maybe you cut out.
I think it cut out there at the end. What was the last thing you said?
Oh yeah, so you don't need a credit card reader. You'll use digital cookie and it's a contactless. You scan the card, put the customer's first and last name and zip code in. That we've been told that's not changing, but that it'll look different. So that training that we'll have come out later in January from GSUSA will be the most helpful piece. But it automatically reads into eBuddy. So it will pay towards your bill.
What tab is that? What do I do? Like,
oh yeah, so in eBuddy, it is the payments tab. That's where you'll see those happening. But they also then show up for the girl or the troop pseudo girl on the girl orders tab to keep them balanced to show that they're paid.
Okay. Now, is that something I could do like a test run of without being like set up as a booth? Like,
yeah, you absolutely could. You could once you have your
a customer and just so I can get familiar with it.
Yeah, once you have cookies in hand, or if you want to go, if you know you're ordering cookies from your daughter, you can go ahead and run an in-person, an in-hand sale of cookies. It will credit either your daughter or the troop, whichever one you log in under on the app, for that money.
Okay.
And then you'll just know that you're already paid.
Okay.
I have any, did that answer everything for you, Leslie?
Yes, it did. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
great, no problem. So Sarah asked about Walmarts. We are working on Walmarts. Walmart is a national partnership. So what is in there now said yes without us needing to walk in. All the other ones we're walking into the back half of this week to get paperwork signed. So those, you should see those go in later this week, over the weekend, Monday before 6 p.m. If a Walmart does not go in, it is because they told us no. So it will either be, and if they're local, we had a couple smaller town ones that are local only, so like Clinton, Indiana, Vermilion County. We've reached out to the cookie manager. She's working with local troops to work with that Walmart, because that Walmart only wants Vermilion County troops. So there are a few specific instances, but we let the service unit cookie manager know so that that can be handled and troops still get to utilize that space that are local to that space. But if they're not in by Monday night next week at 6 p.m., then they told us, they just gave us a no, or they're a local only, and you'll hear about that if they're local only. When can you contact non-hotspot locations? You do not have to wait till after January 17th. You can contact them now, and you can set them up for any time after you have cookies. So depending on which day you plan to pick up your cookies during that first week of February, you can set them up for Thursday night if you'll have cookies by Thursday night. Jillian asked, is it on the digital cookie app, or do we have to have the website pulled up during the booth? It is on the digital cookie app. So you just need to have it charged. I've used everything from a cell phone to an iPhone on Wi-Fi, depending on where you're at. Like if you're at your own non-hotspot and you know that the company will let you use their Wi-Fi, you could also, you could use any kind of smart device that has cellular data or Wi-Fi. Oh, Christine, thank you. They did not notify us of the 6:30 to 7 p.m. downtime. I'm glad that you knew that. Jillian, that if you don't have the option to log in, so for anyone who doesn't have the option when they log into the app to see their troop, you'll need to log into your troop digital cookie and set up your troop cookie links. Those links, or the information on how to do that, you can either go back to the trainings in the Troop Cookie Manager training modules in GS Learn, or there are tip sheets on our website. Janelle, you do not have to accept credit cards at booths. It can be cash only. I did not run, I don't have the data handy to me, but usually a troop who accepts credit cards sells on average 100 more packages per girl during the sale. Like on average across the whole council. So that's like, we're more and more in a plastic world, but you're absolutely welcome to just accept cash unless you're at a mall. The malls do have a requirement we offer credit cards. Paige, you should be able to log into digital cookie with this. So when you got set up for eBuddy, it should have sent you a registration link to do digital cookie as well. If you don't have that, either email me or reach out to customer care tomorrow. Any of us can hit resend on just let us know what troop that you're not accessing, that you're not seeing, and we can hit resend to get you that new registration link. Candace, on another training, will you show us how to accept payments through the app? So yes, by the financial training, we should definitely have that training from GS USA, so we can make sure that we go over how to do that piece. Brett, so you as the troop cookie manager set up the troop link, and then that creates a space where, and then you have to register that troop girl. I wish eBuddy weren't down, or digital cookie wasn't down. I could show you easier. So when you log into your troop dashboard in the top left-hand corner, you can set up your troop cookie parent. So like the person who's going to be the parent to the fake girl. So the person who's going to go in there and approve any girl delivered orders. If you're choosing to use that, like anybody who is going to whoever's just gonna like manage it as if it were a real girl. Once it is registered as a troop and it has its own girl page, its own fake little girl page, then when any parent in your troop logs in, they'll have the option between their Girl Scouts page and their troop page. So it sounds like you probably just need to get that troop cookie link fully set up, and then it should show for all of your parents. Any other questions? We got about 5 minutes left before 8 o'clock. Jillian, it was one of the training modules in the Troop Cookie Manager GS Learn path. But there's also tip sheets out under Cookie Central. Janelle, so for what purpose would you set up a Troop Cookie page? So there are 2 Troop Cookie links through Digital Cookie that you can set up. One that is for shipping and donation only. That one's not as beneficial in my mind. I don't, some troops, I guess if you had somebody who wasn't comfortable having their own girl page, they could use that to have shipping and donating so that the troop would still get sales. It does go out on the cookie finder. So you could potentially get sales from somebody who wanted shipped cookies in your zip code and didn't want to have to go out to a booth. However, the second link that you set up is it does shipped, donated, booth cookies, and girl delivered. So then you could share that out publicly. So if you have parents who aren't comfortable doing girl delivered or approving those, you could have them sharing that link for girl delivered. However, new this year, you'll be able to put your booths in there, whether they be hotspots or non-hotspots. Share that with your friends and family, and then they can pre-order from your booth. So if you're working like Grandpa's Hardware Store, like Anne had set up as a non-hotspot example, you could share that out with everyone on your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then if they, so like we're going to be here, we're going to be there all day Saturday from 9 to 3. If you want to pre-order your cookies and ensure they're just there ready to pick up, they could pre-order them from your booth. The way that that booth setup will happen is you can decide when it stops taking pre-orders, 24 hours out, 6 hours out, 2 days out. But that's kind of the purpose of those 2 things. Lisa, the troop page doesn't show the choice for girl deliver when I approve it for that choice. There are 2 links and it's kind of weird. On that top left-hand corner, after you set it up, you should be able, the link that you can copy should do all 4 of those things. And then if you want one for shipped and donated only, you have to click on a button. So that one that you copy should do that. If it's not, email me and let me play with it and I can see. Brooke asked, what's the best way to keep track of cookies sold at booths so we can later enter? Let me share my screen again because we have a booth tracking form that I can walk you through out on our website. And it also acts as a receipt between you and the parent that signs cookies out. So when whoever's going to be the adults at your cookie booth come to pick up the cookies and the cash, they should sign for that. And the great thing about this form, this booth tracking form, is that it accounts for all of that. So this is on our website. It tells you you can list up to 2 girls and 2 adults on it. You could always pencil in more if you're at your own non-hotspot or at a mall booth, and you want to take 3 girls. The mall, older girls, 2 girls can handle it, but I have tried to do 2 brownies in there and it was a nightmare. Take 3 brownies or younger. So then you would enter the location, date, and time, the beginning total, how many of each cookie did you send, and then at the very end, you should have, so the beginning total, you and the adult taking the cookies to the booth, if you're not the one going, should double count this. Same with the end total. The parent brings it back to your garage. You're counting down. You should count this and make sure that you match. And then the ability here to do the math to see what the difference is. A beginning cash total and ending cash total difference. Some troops choose to have their adults track their credit cards. It's hit and miss, so we provided this. If you wanted to have your adults write down every time they took credit cards and how much they took it for. Your total cookies for a cause collection amount. So this is typically a jar that you have the girls create a jar. You print out some fun cookies for a cause or just cookie stuff in general. There is a box wrap. So if you have a Thin Mint box that you've bought and you've eaten your Thin Mints, then you can wrap the Thin Mint box in a box wrap that is out on our Cookies for a Cause page and on the Cookie Central page. But that way people can drop anything from pennies to $20 bills in. So this would just be how much that could be, like $25. So in even 5 packages, it might be $27.50. And that $2.50 would just float to your next booth. At the beginning of booth signatures, so what the caregiver that signed for it goes here, your signature goes here, and then total amount collected, total sold. What is the difference? It should be 0, but so if it's not, then you have a hiccup and you need to go back and recount. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. And then received by is you at the end of the booth, and received from is the caregiver at the end of the booth. Let me go through these. You do not need to receipt every sale to a customer. You just need to receipt every time you give cookies to a parent or take money from a parent. I would also suggest keeping your receipts for yourself. Even if you're the only one signing them. Like in my house, my significant other is the True Cookie Dad. Anytime I take cookies out for my daughter or any of her customers, I sign a receipt from him, just so there's a good tracking, so that we don't ever confuse Troop cookies with our daughter's cookies. Janelle, you do have to set up a Troop link to collect cookies, to collect credit cards at a cookie booth. And then, yes, just the way that Anne showed it, and you can go back and watch the recording when we post it tomorrow. You allocate them in eBuddy. You divvy them up in eBuddy. Some troops wait till the very end, divvy them up evenly amongst all girls. Most troops I know divvy them amongst the 2 girls who were working at that booth. Because although location and weather can play a big effect, girls who are like go-getters, I've been at a really good Walmart on the same day with 2 different types of girls, and had 2 totally different selling experiences. So Jillian, anyone should be able to choose girl delivered, even if they're out of state. And then the parent, if they don't want to have to deliver it, like if they're planning a spring break trip and they're going to deliver it, they can accept it. I'm guessing that parent accidentally has girl delivered turned off, and she can fix that on her My Cookies piece of digital cookie. Leslie asked, how much do you recommend we keep in our change drawer? This is withdrawn from the Troop account, correct? Yes, most of the time, if you're offering credit cards, especially, somewhere between $75 and $100 if you can to start. We've done as low as 50. 1s and 5s is really all you need. You could even get away with just 1s. And just if somebody gives you a 10, give them 5 1s back. But the biggest thing is, the nicest thing is we have hit a point where we took in way more cash than we planned, and usually customer service, like money services at places, are pretty nice and will change out your big bills for smaller bills. Janelle, on your settings tab, you in eBuddy, let me before I speak incorrectly. I think your troop goal can be placed on your settings. I know the girl goal can be placed on the girls tab by each girl, but I want to double check. I think you can put your troop goal on your settings tab if you want to be able to track it there. While that's loading, Sarah asked, initial order is due 121. Yes, 121 at 9 p.m. And you have to schedule your delivery station by 121 at 9:30 p.m. And next week's deep dive webinar will be all about utilizing the SIO tool, entering in the SIO, pulling out of, if your girls put initial orders in a digital cookie, we'll talk about moving them over. How to book your delivery site, all that fun stuff. All right, settings. Yes, so if you go to your settings tab and then edit settings, you can put your troop goal here. Any other questions? We are after 8 o'clock, so I apologize if we've kept anybody. All right. Well, if anybody has any questions, feel free to email Tashiana or I. She's tavery@girlscoutsindiana.org. I'm A Pash. Call the customer care line at 317-924-6800. Any of us can help you out with these pieces. And we wish you a good cookie sale. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Good night.